In the tense early days of January 2020, the world found itself teetering on the edge of a new and uncertain conflict. Just days after the U.S. drone strike that killed Iranian General Qasem Soleimani, a seismic shift rippled through the Middle East and beyond. The world waited, nervous, watchful, and uncertain of what might come next. And then, in the dead of night, Iran made its move. From hidden launch sites deep within Iranian territory, ballistic missiles arced skyward, their fiery trails slicing through the darkness. Their targets, 2 U.S. military bases in Iraq, Al-Assad Air Base and Erbil International Airport. The message was unmistakable. Iran was striking back, and it wanted the world to know. The operation was codenamed Martyr Soleimani, an unmistakable declaration of vengeance for the slain commander. Within moments, chaos erupted at the bases. Sirens wailed, soldiers scrambled to bunkers. The world watched as the first confirmed, direct Iranian missile attack on U.S. forces unfolded in real time. Iran swiftly claimed responsibility, boasting of its military prowess and warning that further aggression would be met with even fiercer retaliation. But behind the headlines and the official statements, a deeper, more intricate web was being spun. As U.S. intelligence analysts sifted through debris and satellite imagery, they noticed unsettling details. The missile guidance systems bore the unmistakable hallmarks of Russian engineering: precision, sophistication, and a level of accuracy that Iran's previous missile strikes had never demonstrated. Some of the warheads, investigators noted, matched designs seen in North Korean arsenals. The attack, it seemed, was not just an act of Iranian aggression, but a display of international cooperation in the shadows. This was the opening salvo in a new kind of conflict. A shadow war waged not just by nations, but by networks of states, each leveraging its unique strengths. Iran may have pulled the trigger, but it was far from alone. On digital maps in war rooms and intelligence centers, glowing red lines began to crisscross the globe, connecting Tehran to Moscow, Beijing, and Pyongyang. The world was witnessing the birth of a decentralized multi-nation axis, one that could strike without warning and without clear attribution. Russia's involvement was subtle but crucial. While no Russian troops were sent to the front lines, Russian military satellites hovered high above the Earth, their sensors trained on U.S. positions in Iraq. The data they collected, real-time targeting information, weather patterns, and enemy troop movements, was quietly relayed to Iranian missile operators. This satellite support allowed Iran to guide its missiles with unprecedented precision, striking their targets with lethal accuracy. Russian jets, meanwhile, patrolled the skies over Syria, a silent deterrent aimed at preventing any Israeli or American air response. But the shadow war extended beyond the battlefield. China, wielding its economic might, launched a different kind of retaliation. Almost overnight, Beijing froze lucrative LNG deals with U.S. energy firms, sending shockwaves through global markets. Chinese state oil companies ramped up purchases of Iranian crude, providing Tehran with a desperately needed financial lifeline. And in quiet conversations with Gulf states, Chinese diplomats delivered a stark warning: stay neutral, or risk being cut off from the world's largest consumer market. Oil tankers shifted their routes. Markets tumbled. The message was clear: China was ready to defend its interests, and those of its allies, by any means necessary. Meanwhile, evidence of North Korean involvement began to surface. Military analysts, poring over footage of the missile launches, noticed something odd. The flight patterns of several missiles matched those of North Korea's Hwasong-12, a solid-fueled, short-range ballistic missile with advanced guidance systems. Intelligence reports indicated that North Korean engineers had been working inside Iran for months, training Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps units in the latest missile technologies. The partnership was mutually beneficial. Iran gained cutting-edge weaponry, and North Korea received much-needed funds and technological expertise. This was no longer a simple case of one nation avenging the death of a leader. It was the first visible strike of a newly coordinated alliance, a decentralized web of states each contributing their unique capabilities to a shared cause. One nation fired the missile, but three others pulled the strings, providing the technology, intelligence, and economic muscle needed to make the attack possible. As the dust settled over the smoldering ruins of Al-Assad and Erbil, the world braced for what might come next. U.S. troops mobilized in the region. Israel raised its alert level to the highest in years. Inside the Pentagon, officials pored over new reports, this time of cyber attacks, targeting critical American infrastructure. Alarms blared in the control rooms of power grids. Financial systems flickered under the strain of digital assaults. The shadow war was expanding, shifting from the physical realm to the virtual, with potentially devastating consequences. The world now faced a stark choice. The next 48 hours would be critical. Would the United States retaliate, risking an all-out war that could engulf the region, and perhaps the world? Or would cooler heads prevail, seeking diplomacy over destruction? The fate of millions hung in the balance, and as leaders in Washington, Tehran, Moscow, Beijing, and Pyongyang weighed their next moves, ordinary people around the globe watched and wondered. Was this the spark that could ignite a global conflict? Was this the beginning of World War III, or a final desperate warning shot across the bow? In a world where alliances are fluid and warfare is waged in the shadows as much as in the open, the answers are never simple. But one question remains, pressing and urgent. If you were in the president's seat, what would you do? Would you strike back, risking escalation and chaos? Or would you hold the line, seeking a path through the darkness toward peace? The world is watching. The clock is ticking. What would you choose? If you found this story compelling and want to see more in-depth explorations of global events, consider supporting our channel. Your engagement helps us bring you thought-provoking content and fresh perspectives on the world's most pressing issues. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with others who might be interested. With your support, we can continue uncovering the stories that shape our world. Thank you for being part of our community.